If you want a larger screen than the regular Pixel 10, you've actually got to pay $400 extra, but of course you're going to get some better features at that price. Today we're checking out the new Pixel 10 Pro XL. You've got 4 different color options. The one shown here is called Moonstone, and it starts with 256 gigabytes of storage. Then it goes up to 512 or 1 terabyte. It's got a 6.8-inch LTPO OLED display at 1344 by 2992 resolution, up to 120 Hz refresh rate. It's also a little bit brighter at 2200 nits plus 3300 nits peak brightness. It's also IP68 dust and water resistant. They got rid of the SIM card tray, at least in the United States. Personally, I think that's a mistake. Probably saved them a few cents though. They always like to go really shiny on the Pro models, I notice. Personally, I prefer the matte finish, like on the regular Pixel 10. It definitely has a premium feel to it though. You can see it's a little bit taller than the S25 Plus, a little bit thicker, a little bit heavier. You can sort of see that the gray has a little bit of a bluish tone to it. Probably easier to notice around the edges. You can see the size difference next to the regular Pixel 10 as well. Probably about the same thickness, just a little bit taller, a little bit wider as well. Nice little welcome screen there in several different languages. Software wise, it comes with Android 16, and of course you get 7 years of software updates, which also includes security updates as well. It's gonna have all of Google's AI stuff like Gemini, Pixel screenshots, Magic Queue, Circle to Search, Live Translate, and Call Assist. Of course, you have gesture navigation, but you can set up 3-button navigation in the settings if you want to. You can see they're using a gray color for the accent color. Now you will notice when you first set up the phone, it's got the older style, what looks like Android 15, even though it says 16. But there should be a software update here shortly that's going to update the look of your notifications and quick settings. It'll also update the style of the volume control, settings, little things like that. Just a lot of small changes overall, really. I also like how in the settings, things are color coordinated now. Just seems a little more organized, a little easier to find stuff. Fingerprint scanner actually seems to work pretty good on here. Much better than some of the Pixels in the past. Of course, all the pre-installed apps are just the ones from Google. You still have the Google Discover newsfeed left of the home screen as well. I think the screen quality on here looks pretty good. Not a whole lot different from the Pixel 9 series, but still pretty good overall. Plus it always helps to have the extra screen brightness as well. It also has the Tensor G5 processor, just like the regular Pixel 10. You also have 16 gigabytes of RAM. I know for performance, you can't always go by benchmark results, and the single and multi-core scores seem pretty similar to the previous Pixel 9 Pro. But to me, the GPU performance on this and the regular Pixel 10 just seem really low, only being just over 3,000. I mean, my Samsung phone is over 19,000. I don't know, maybe there's something I'm missing. I think it does a decent job of playing games like PUBG Mobile and Asphalt Legends Unite. I know this visor on the back is going to be an issue for some people that want to use controllers that kind of fit on both sides. I did notice when playing PUBG Mobile, the phone gets really warm. Not necessarily a deal breaker, just something that I noticed. Like I said in my other video, most Pixel phones that I've tested just seem to run hotter than some other phones that I've tested. It's got a larger battery at 5200 milliamp hours. You can also go up to 45 watt fast charging on this one. It also has the Pixel Snap wireless charging, just like the regular Pixel 10, although up to 25 watts versus only 15 watts, like on the regular Pixel 10. I also ran my typical battery drain test at 100% screen brightness, and the Pro XL lasted 9.5 hours, so just under the regular Pixel 10 and my older Pixel 8 Pro. But that's actually pretty good, considering the brighter screen on here. I know there's a lot of variables when it comes to battery life, but this should last a couple days with normal use, especially once you turn the screen brightness down. Even though this phone's quite a bit bigger than the regular Pixel 10, I guess I was expecting the speakers to be quite a bit louder. To me, they actually sound pretty similar. Here's a quick sample, just to give you an idea of what it sounds like compared to the regular Pixel 10.
As you fade away.
This one does have higher resolution cameras on the back, 50 megapixels for the main lens, 48 megapixels for the ultra wide with macro focus, and then 48 megapixel telephoto lens, ProRes zoom up to 100 times. You also have a higher resolution front facing camera at 42 megapixels versus only 10.5 on the regular Pixel 10. When you first open the camera app, you can see they've added motion photo, top shot, auto best take, 100 times ProRes zoom. You've got action pan, long exposure, add me, portrait, photo, night sight, and panorama. Under video, you've got pan, blur, video, night sight, slow motion, and time lapse. You can do up to a 4K resolution, 60 frames per second for video, or you can go up to 8K, 30 frames per second with video boost. Not a huge surprise, but the camera quality on here looks really good, especially in my studio lighting. But here's a few quick samples just to give you an idea of what to expect from the Pixel 10 Pro XL. Just like the regular Pixel 10, I think you can get some really good photos from Pixel phones. I think video is also getting a little bit better than previous Pixel phones as well. But I think getting rid of the physical SIM card in the United States was a mistake. I know some people are not going to want to switch just because of that. And like I said in the regular Pixel 10 video, I just hope that Samsung doesn't follow suit with their new phones. I'm kind of surprised to see the GPU performance on this higher end model be exactly the same as the regular Pixel 10. I'm hoping the GPU performance is just a mistake or error that's fixed later on, because that seems really low for a flagship phone. I also think after testing this phone, I can see a lot of people going for the Pixel 9 series over this one, and maybe even possibly looking at the Pixel 8 series as well, especially considering those have 7 years of software updates as well. I can't imagine that many people wanting to upgrade if you've already got the Pixel 9 Pro or 9 Pro XL. If you like phones, tablets, and other tech, I've got a lot more stuff that I'm working on as usual, so keep an eye out for those upcoming videos. So if you've made it this far into the video, you may want to say thanks by subscribing, and don't forget to give a thumbs up if this video was helpful. This is Brian from Fishbee Productions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.